Every day, your email quietly sorts spam from the messages you actually want. A support system routes your ticket to the right team. A news feed tags a story as sports or politics. Behind all of it sits the single most common task in natural language processing, text classification. The job sounds almost trivial. Take a piece of text and hand it the right label. But doing it well, at scale, across millions of messages, is where the real value lives. It is often the very first machine learning system a company ships, because the payoff is immediate. Let's dig in. So what does a classifier really replace? Let's set the old way against the new. Reading and sorting text by hand does not scale. A human can label a few hundred emails or tickets a day carefully and accurately, but bury them under a million and the whole approach collapses. It is slow, it is expensive, and it quietly drifts as tired people start applying the rules a little differently by the afternoon. Text classification hands that judgment to a model. You show it labeled examples once, and from then on it assigns categories automatically in milliseconds at any volume you throw at it. The same tireless rules apply to the first message and the 10 millionth, which is exactly what makes it a workhorse of production systems. So how do you actually build one? The classic pipeline runs in 4 clean stages. Watch it in the end. Start by collecting labeled examples. You gather a pile of texts, emails, reviews, tickets, and attach the correct category to each one. This labeled data is the fuel for everything that follows, and its quality quietly sets the ceiling on how good your classifier can ever get. Next, turn each text into numbers. A model cannot read raw words, so you convert every document into features, classic bag of words, or TF-IDF counts, or richer embeddings that capture meaning. This representation choice shapes how much signal the classifier has to work with. Now train the classifier. You feed those features and their labels to a learning algorithm, logistic regression, or naive Bayes in the classic era, a fine-tuned transformer like BERT today, and it learns the mapping from text patterns to categories purely by example. Finally, predict on new text. A fresh message arrives, you run it through the very same feature step, and the trained model outputs its category, spam or not, positive or negative, whichever bucket it belongs in. That is the loop running live in production, quietly labeling millions of messages an hour without a human in sight. Boil it down, and 3 ideas carry text classification. It assigns categories automatically. Give the model labeled examples, and it maps any new text to a label on its own, turning a slow manual chore into an instant, repeatable decision that runs at essentially unlimited scale. It comes in 3 flavors. Binary sorts into 2 classes, like spam or not. Multi-class picks one label from many, like a ticket topic, and multi-label attaches several at once, the way an article can be tagged with a handful of subjects together. Modern systems lean on BERT and watch imbalance. A pre-trained transformer brings real language understanding and needs far less labeled data, while class imbalance, where one label swamps the rest, stays a constant threat that metrics like F1 and careful sampling keep honest. All right, let's lock in the essentials. Text classification automatically assigns a category or label to a piece of text and is the most common natural language processing task running in production. The pipeline is simple. Turn text into features or embeddings, then train a classifier on labeled examples to map those features to the right label. It comes as binary, multi-class, or multi-label, and it powers spam filters, sentiment analysis, content moderation, chatbot intent, and ticket routing everywhere you look. Today, the strong approach fine-tunes a pre-trained model like BERT evaluated with precision, recall, and F1 while guarding against class imbalance. If turning fuzzy NLP ideas into clear pictures is your thing, that is our whole mission over at Standarity.com. See you there.